Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Deal. I was just getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth. I look at my phone, and Keon Keeley decommits from Notre Dame. We've been talking about this for a while, and Dill, it's been something we've talked about a lot. These early commitments, these guys aren't slated to sign the dotted line and officially enroll in school for another full year. You're going to see a lot of these, I think, Dill. I'm going to kick it to you. What is your takeaway from Keon Keeley decommitting from Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think it comes as a wild surprise. It seemed like this was kind of trending. He obviously made the visit to Alabama. It seemed like that Notre Dame, similar to like that Raylan Wilson commitment. Like, okay, if like at Michigan, like once they start snooping around the other schools pretty aggressively, it's like, this doesn't really feel like a commitment at this point. Kind of like what Venables even said, that I don't want guys who commit here to like be shopping around.
And I can see the frustration with coaches when you take a commit, you allocate a scholarship to that player, and then we're satisfied with our edge players. We're not going to recruit any of these edge players because we think we have a commitment. And then they decommit, and then you're scrambling to kind of fill in your depth chart, fill in your recruiting class. But in this new, and I'm not faulting the kids at all, but in this new NIL era, Notre Dame, you get offered certain amounts of money. You're being told what it's going to look like, and then you go to Alabama, then you go to Georgia, then you go to Florida, and they're telling you, well, you have potential to make X amount of money here and here and here, and that's why I think you're seeing a lot of these decommitments here.
Yeah, that seems like it's just going to be a bit of the way of the world moving forward. Like these guys who commit very early, are you getting into like bidding wars almost? Like, okay, so Notre Dame kind of tells them what players at Notre Dame are making, and then Alabama knows the number that Notre Dame's saying, and then they say, well, we think you can make X here, and who knows who's making what, what's true, what's not. I'm sure coach has been lying for forever about all sorts of things in the recruiting process, and certainly the fact that now the money's on the table, I think it gets really kind of sketchy out of
the amount of information that you're seeing. It's so hard to kind of pick through what is true. Like I think about the Jaden Rashada contract that he had at Miami, and like the money that's being thrown out is one, wild, and two, it's just so hard to pick through like how to evaluate and how to place a number value on these 17, 18-year-old kids. That's enough of the NIL talk just because I don't know that much about it. I think
we're all just talking.
Yeah, I'm just talking kind of out my ass a little bit. Let's talk about where he is likely to go. Guys that we trust. I mean, Steve Wilfong is probably the best in the business in crystal balls. Has him as a 6 to go to Alabama. Tom Loy has a 7, a high prediction that he's going to go to Bama. And it looks like Nick Saban is going to do what Nick Saban does best and go get another high 5-star.
And at the end of the day, like, yeah, Notre Dame can be alluring in their own right, but I think a lot of these guys look at who's putting pros in the league.
Yes.
They're coming from Georgia. They're coming from Bama. They're coming from Ohio State. Like those are the teams that are putting year in and year out, are having 1 or 2 guys in the top 10 and probably 3 to 5 in the first round. And Notre Dame, frankly, isn't matching it at that pace. I don't think you play the schedule that allows you consistently to put top players in the NFL draft, just because it is Notre Dame plays a lighter schedule than a Bama or Georgia.
Not this year.
No, I know. And it is cyclical with how Notre Dame does it. But the facts are facts. Like the pros who are coming out at the high ends of the draft are coming from probably those 3 to 5 schools.
So Alabama, and we don't need to make a pitch for why to go to Alabama. Like you just look at the track record of the players that they've put out and the success they've had in the sport and the success Nick Saban has had. Another team I wouldn't count out is the Florida Gators. They just put together one of the best recruiting weekends we've seen in a very long time. Did you see their new the new locker room in the facilities?
No, is it electric?
Discuss. It's a legit resort. I mean, they got like a pool in the back, state-of-the-art facility. This place is absolutely nuts, and there was not a single doubt in my mind that they had those guys come check out what was coming, and it's not a coincidence that they get 4 massive commitments over the weekend, and then Sunday night, Monday morning, release the videos of what this training facility and what this complex looks like. The Florida Gators are hot on the recruiting trail. Keeley is from Tampa Bay, Florida. I would not be surprised if Billy Napier and the Florida Gators are making a little run here too.
Well, now naturally it's in flux. I mean, once you decommit and commit, it's like, what now at this point? What does the commitment mean? I'm sure that's what Florida thinks, and who knows? I think guys flip flop periodically, especially this early. And yeah, what is stopping a Florida coming in? Oh, you're gonna get this experience at Bama. Well, you're getting this here. You're the Florida guy. Stay home. Give that feel.
This would be a wild if they were if they were able to land him. The Gators I'm talking about, that would be a defensive line class for the century. I mean, capping off, and we don't talk about this player as much, like until he commits, we'll kind of get into what he's about. But he's an absolute freak. Like some of the pictures that I've seen of this kid, he looks like a full-grown man. He's fully developed. He's an extreme athlete that can do pretty much anything you want. He can play kind of that stand-up outside linebacker. He can also definitely put his hand in there and be a physical edge force as well. This guy he's going to be a crown jewel of a recruiting class, whether he goes to Bama, whether he stays at Notre Dame, or whether he goes to Florida Gators, and he's going to be a very, very hot commodity.
Yeah, no, I know people are going to be coming from now that the name's kind of back in play. I'm sure he was getting recruited the same way he would have even while committed to Notre Dame. Just like I think every player getting recruited hard as commits whenever in all the lead up. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. This is like, I don't know. This is going to make the whole thing so just kind of wild. I think it's very stressful for fans. I mean, coaches even more so, but just
dude, it's got to be put the coaches in a mental blender. Like you think like Marcus Freeman is sitting on this, and by the way, Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman, they're going to be fine. Like Marcus Freeman's shown he's an elite recruiter. Like, yes, this obviously stings really bad, but Marcus Freeman is going to be absolutely fine on the recruiting trail. I'll say one more thing and we'll close it out here. The Florida Gators get him down for an official visit week 1 when Utah comes to town, night game in the swamp. Yeah. I don't know if you can have a better recruiting pitch. You take him through the facilities, show him what it's about, and then you take him.
They got to win. That's part of the key with Florida.
I wonder, that's going to be a really big game in the sense that you have all these commits, and if you're able to pull off that upset, which it is an upset according to Vegas, man, I don't see how if you're an 18-year-old kid and you go watch that game on the field and you don't want to go to Florida Gators. Like the swamp, there's really nothing better at night, and I would not be surprised if he's in attendance and it is absolutely rocking, and he might want to take his talents to Gainesville. That'll do it here, guys. We appreciate you guys checking us out as usual. If you do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate y'all, and we're going to talk to y'all later. Peace.